Human trafficking film Sound of Freedom trashed by liberal outlets as QAnon adjacent. I just don't understand why certain people are trashing the movie and don't want to talk about it at all.
They don't want human trafficking to be a part of the public consciousness because then they're going to find out who the customers are.
This should serve as a wake-up call that all of this shit that you have been told was bullshit is actually somewhat true, and the mainstream media outlets are actually part of this problem in reality. What my conclusion comes to is that we're dealing with fucking legitimately a bunch of elite fucks that have a lot of money and a lot of power and like to molest little fucking kids. To sit here and say, oh, that's conspiracy theory, after all of this evidence that exists has come out in the open, bro, you're putting your head in the sand, just like you're putting your head in the sand about what Biden's doing to this country intentionally. We have Andy and DJ and not Matt Graham.
Cruise the motherfucking internet.
That's what we're going to do. And that's right. I got not Matt Graham here. What's up, bro?
How's it going? Thanks
Good.
for having me.
That actually is Matt Graham, but that's your IG handle, correct?
Right. There is no Matt Graham. There's only an absence of one.
That's right. His content is so good that when it's not there, you feel like something is missing. It's poetic.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's intentional.
That's right. So what's up, man?
Not much, man. Just
Flew in today.
Here, excited to do the podcast. I visualized myself in this room for the past year. So for anyone that thinks that visualization is some bullshit, it's not.
Yeah. So Matt is I would say a newer friend of mine. I found his content through one of our mutual friends, and I became an instant fan. I really appreciate what he's doing. And then I found out that he is a 75 harder, and has, had great success with that. And we figured we just, we're going to stop doing so many full lengths. We're just going to bring people in and let them sit in on CTI. And then, like, for those of you guys that don't want to sit in on CTI, you just don't get to be on the show. Like, it's that simple. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah,
like when these guys are like, oh, I want to come on the show, but I don't really want to talk. Well, fucking go to somebody else's show. It's very simple. Anyway, I'm glad to have you here, bro.
Appreciate it.
So
glad to be here.
How did you now let's run through this story. We'll get into the CTI real quick, but just for background, how did you end up here?
Well, I basically spent a number of years becoming what I call a product of the modern world, which is basically probably your average 18 to 24-year-old guy here in Western civilization. Being addicted to playing video games, on antidepressants, smoking weed. No offense.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
But hey,
yeah.
I'll say there's a difference between, it being something that controls you and something that you do as something you enjoy after the work is done. Yeah. That's a separate subject. But yeah, so I went down this deep, dark place for a few years, and 2020 really woke me up to what was actually going on in the world. And obviously the pandemic and all in the summer of love and all the things that took place then, a lot of things started rising to the surface, and I started seeing that we might have been lied to about a few things. And so of course that starts the rabbit hole. You go down the rabbit hole and you learn about what's actually going on. And one of the things that I realized we were lied to about was what we should be prioritizing, especially as men in the West. And, the West or modern society will want to tell you that you should prioritize comfort and convenience and being happy, whatever that means. And I went down that road and it made me absolutely miserable. So, had to try something else. And, I started listening to some different people, people more in you could call it the right wing side of things. And they were preaching a much different message than I had heard previously. And I started adopting more of the mindset of those people and doing what they told me to do. And one of those things was 75 hard. So, when
that guy's a fucking far right winger.
Yeah, geez, man.
Yeah,
all the way.
You're
That
dangerous.
Yeah, major conspiracy theorist.
That's
And
absolutely.
YouTuber, supplement seller.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Fuck, man.
ice cream tycoon.
That's right. Future ice cream.
That's a fucking fact.
Yeah, that's happening. All
Make
right.
it happen. But So when people ask me like, okay, what was the thing that got you from there to here? The answer is 75 hard. Like that was the protocol. I don't think, I tell people like, there's a reason why I don't sell my own program, because I don't believe there's a better one. Because the magic of 75 hard is that it teaches you to do the things that you need to do in order to make progress, period. And I believe that is fundamentally what people lack. They just can't take action for whatever reason, or they get distracted, which obviously, like, we live in a world with endless amounts of distraction. So I can empathize with that. But, for anyone listening to this, like, if you want to make any sort of progress, it's going to boil down to what are you doing when you wake up every single morning? Mm-hmm. And so 75 hard uniquely does this for you, because you have to take not only consistent action, but consecutive action. And you really start to understand how momentum works and how the process actually works. And you understand what the term falling in love with the process means, because by the end of it, you see the result. You're so focused on your tasks every single day. Like, that's the program, right? You're not thinking about like, how do I look today? How do I feel mentally today? You're just like, I got to get these tasks done. And that's it. Like, that's making progress in life. Like, if you want to get anywhere,
parallel. Yeah.
Right. Everything that you learn by completing 75 hard, live hard, will map to everything else you want to do. Take it in, fitness, business, creating content. That's it. People, they see my growth over the last year, making content, and they're like, how did you do it? I'm like, I've made over 700 videos in the last year. That's how. Like, you get good enough at doing it if you do it.
That's right.
Consistently.
That's right.
And not just consistently, but consecutively. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's kind of the foundation of my message in terms of, what I believe about the world, is that it boils down to action. You got to do stuff in order to make stuff happen. And
shocking,
right?
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Wait, so I can't just sit on my couch or like super glue my hand to a Starbucks counter and shit will change?
Make difference. That's right.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Believe it or not, the needle does not move by merely thinking about it.
Oh man,
dude,
we're definitely gonna piss some people off today.
Yeah, well, that's nothing new.
It's fine.
I think the power of the program, dude. First of all, what I think is cool is like you are making a tremendous difference with your message and with the people that you're reaching with your message. You're a young man who's amongst a generation of people that aren't quite in tune with the reality of how things work, and you're sharing that message day in and day out. I personally think you're one of the best examples for someone, for anyone to follow, but especially if you're under 30 years old. You guys should be following Not Matt Graham. I believe that's your handle everywhere,
yes,
right?
Yep.
Okay. And listen to what he has to say. It's amazing. He lives it. He lives it every single day. And it's an honor to have you here, bro. Real talk.
It's an honor to be here. And I think the thing that I would say separates me from a lot of the other people that make quote unquote self-improvement content on the internet is the fact that I have lived on both sides of the fence. I've experienced what it's like to live the lifestyle of the depressed, overweight, hedonist, and the opposite of that. And 100 times out of 100, I would elect to take the hard path and live the life that I'm living now, because I've never had more peace, more success, more everything that I've ever wanted. And it's by getting up every day and doing the shit that I do not want to do.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works. I think the main power, and by the way, if you're hearing this and you've just heard of 75 Hard, if you go, it's a free program. Okay. We don't charge for it. It's episode 208. It's on audio platforms only. Okay. So you won't find it on YouTube. It'll give you the exact program. You follow it and it'll give you exactly what he's talking about. There is a book. If you're one of these people that has to know all the ins and outs of why things are the way they are, the book will be helpful for you. I'm one of those people. I'm a person that has to know every single detail. So I did write a book about it. It's available on my website, andyfrisella.com. It's definitely not required. But I think it's a worthy investment if it's someone that's, that you need to know these things. But you can go to episode 208. It's a free program. And I think the magic and the power of it, dude, I I think, you touched on it when you said it teaches you how momentum works and, compounding and consecutive and consistent actions over the course of time. But I also think that the main skill set of discipline and the ability to adhere to a plan of any sort is the skill set that most people are missing. We all have ideas. We all have goals. We all have things we want to do. And I was no different. I was one of those people that had all these things too, and I could never figure it out. My main problem was I couldn't stick to anything. I just couldn't stick to anything for more than, 3 or 4 or 5 days. And if I got past 6 or 7 days, I was killing it. And the reality is in life, that's just not long enough. And so the program, what this does, it's a year-long program called Live Hard. 75 Hard is the beginning of that program. And then there's 3 30-day phases that are done over the 12-month period. And it's designed to be repeated over and over again through the course of your life. And the reason it's designed to be repeated over and over again over the course of your life is because it actually helps compound the skill set, and you get better and better and better as you go. And I believe that my life is an example of that. I've gotten better every single year. I just turned 44 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life. I thought I was wealthy before I started this shit, and I was wrong. And it all comes down to the ability to just adhere 100% with no compromise, no deviation, no substitution to what you say you're going to do. And when you can do that and you live that way and you look at yourself in the mirror every single night, you say, did I give it my all? You have nothing to feel bad about, which raises your confidence, raises your belief. It raises all the things that we all say we want and need and lack. And unfortunately, guys, I wish there was, but there's no affirmation. There's no pill. There's no, routine, in the morning of meditation that's going to give you confidence. Confidence is earned. Confidence is built. And it's built by doing the things you say you're going to do. And once you develop the skill set of being able to adhere, AKA discipline, what can you not do? That's the thing you should be thinking about. What could you achieve if you had the ability to adhere to any plan that you set out in front of your path? The answer is anything. So it's the ultimate superpower. And most people just don't put in enough work over the course of time to develop it. I used to look at it, I'm sure you did as well, like some people were just gifted it. Like it was this trait that somebody was born with. Like they just got the discipline trait and I didn't get it, so I'm fucked, right? And, becoming aware that that's actually a skill set that you develop is very empowering, because now you realize, whoa, wait a minute, I'm actually really am in control of my life. Mm-hmm. I actually do have the power to build this skill set that allows me to continue down the path that I want to be on. And dude, the results speak for itself. When we first brought it out 5 years ago, it was a trend. Well, it's 5 years old and it's getting bigger and bigger. So trends don't do that.
Yeah. Hell of a trend there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say that one of the things that I like about it the most too is that the objective of the program is not to lose any amount of weight, not to make a certain amount of money, not to feel a certain way. It is to just do these things.
Yeah.
And if that's your objective, Alex Hormozy says it, like, you don't commit to the goal, you commit to the actions that are conducive to the goal.
That's right.
Right. And 75 Hard is the only program I believe that's out there that the only thing you have to think about doing are these controllable actions
every single day.
And
dude, that's how winning at anything works in life, whether it's building a business, whether it's building, an organization or building your physique or a relationship. If we looked at if we took our lives, and instead of looking at it like, 85 years or whatever you think a lifespan is, and we just said, okay, we're only going to focus on today. Today is our life. And we won that day. And we had the attitude that, like, okay, to win, we have to accomplish, and we have the list. Because if you really did that, most people will say, well, I'm going to live it up. I'm going to go get fucking drunk and we're going to party. But if you could just shrink down your focus to the day in front of you and execute today and execute tomorrow and execute the next day, that's the fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to be, is by focusing on winning the day, which, by the way, I have a whole nother program built around that You can find that in episode 16 on the audio feed. It's called Win the Day. It's my powerless productivity system. But I mean, dude, I think that if people would just stop thinking about it in any other terms than today, like it's today.
Yep.
Because then when you wake up, dude, I think the best thing that comes from living that live hard lifestyle, at least for me, is when I wake up in the morning and I don't have the anxiety I used to have. And the reason I don't have the anxiety I used to have was because I know that the day before I did everything that I could have done. So I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, all I got to do is do that again. Whereas in the past, when I was not living that way and I was living, the same lifestyle that you were talking about, the pleasure, the comfort, the drugs, the alcohol, the fucking fatness, the laziness, all the sins, you know what I'm saying? I would wake up every day with regret and anxiety. And I'm like, shit, I'm 100 pounds overweight at 350 pounds, right? And I'm thinking like, shit, dude, I got this mountain to climb. Like, like it becomes this insurmountable like weight that you have to address, and you have to address, but you keep putting it off because it's so big. And then because you keep putting it off, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so one of the things I'm thankful for, man, of living that lifestyle, and I know a lot of people don't get it. It's not for everybody. Okay. It's cool. It's like none of my shit is for everybody. If you're listening to this, I'm for people that want more, that are high achieving, that are ambitious, that are driven. I'm not for you lazy fucks that want to sit on your couch and be a fat fuck. I'm never going to, you should unfollow me because everything I say is going to make you angry. Okay. I'm not for you. I'm for the 2% of people that are driven and willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to build a life they want. That's what I'm for. So like, if you want to feel good about being a fat, lazy piece of shit, I'm not the guy for you, bro. But if you do actually want to change, I can show you how to change. And this is how we do it. We focus on one day at a time. We do that over and over and over and over again. And in a very short amount of time, because we didn't waste any time during the process, your whole life changes. And one of the things that I love the most, bro, is I get to wake up with a clear conscience. I get to wake up knowing I gave like for this year, I've given almost literally every single day this year I've been on the program. So, because I've had to restart a couple times. I wake up every day and I'm like, you know what? Like yesterday was my birthday. I did all my stuff. I woke up today. I didn't have a hangover from partying. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel bad because I ate a bunch of bad food. I woke up, I looked in the mirror. I'm like, still ripped, still handsome. I'm gonna go kick some more ass. And it feels good. You don't wake up feeling like, oh, I've got this massive weight to fucking address. And dude, you can address, this can happen for you very quickly. And I don't know. There's a lot that comes with it, but I just wish, I wish more people would start understanding that what you need is not what you think you need. What you need is actually the discipline to adhere, because the discipline to adhere, and this goes into the freedom concept, the discipline to adhere actually gives you the freedom that you're searching for. This is what you guys have a misunderstanding of freedom. This is why you're confused about the idea of personal excellence being the ultimate rebellion. It confuses you because you think that laws and politicians and the media dictate your own freedom, and that's not true. You dictate your own freedom. And the reason that we don't have a free society right now in the laws and in the politicians is because we don't have enough individual freedom happening at the ground level. And individual freedom is created by creating discipline, which allows you to become disassociated with all the tentacles of the dependency machine, which is our system, right? They want you fat, you're not fat anymore. They want you broke, oh, you're not broke anymore, because now you can actually follow through on what you said you were going to do. They want you stupid and consuming all their stuff. Well, it's hard to consume all their data when you're busy getting after it, right? You're putting good stuff in your brain every day. They want you hanging around in the cesspool of social media all day so that you can get your brain flooded. Well, if you make it intentional to hang around people and consume content like my man's content right here to get better every single day, those things change you. You become independent, you become free. Your neighbor sees it, they become free. So like this is all of the problems that we have. I'm not saying 75 Hard can solve the world's fucking problems, but I'm saying it's a good fucking start.
I would say that.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Yeah.
I mean, because when people think about America, and I'll just piggyback off of what you were saying, when people talk about freedom, and I believe this at one point too, freedom means doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
And what people fail to understand is that human beings are flawed creatures and they must be governed by something. And that governance is either going to come from you or your wife or your parents or the government.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to choose. And I would advise everyone here to start by doing 75 hard, develop some discipline, and learn what self-governance actually looks like. And that's how we facilitate an actually free society, because we are completely independent from any other force that wants to govern us and control our behavior, because we control it ourselves.
That's right.
Love it. We ready to
yeah, we get to cruising.
We want to get to cruising?
Let's do it.
All right, seatbelts on, gentlemen.
Yeah. Guys, make sure you're following Matt. Okay. It's not Matt Graham. It's on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, I believe your YouTube as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Make sure you're following this dude. He's going to do some badass shit.
Yeah. Just, I mean, for his looks, more than
he's a
anything
handsome
else.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting like Zac Efron's vibes a little bit.
Before the surgery or after?
I didn't even know that. What was the surgery?
Oh, he got like some crazy chin surgery
no,
that
I'm
everyone
talking
was talking.
like yeah, before.
Okay.
Like
well, I appreciate that.
High School Musical.
All right.
Not that far. A little bit older. A little bit older.
What's wrong with you, man?
What?
All right, let's fucking do the show. God dang, man, I'm getting uncomfortable in here.
Guys, don't forget to pay the fee.
Is there something you need to tell us for real?
No, man.
All right, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, don't forget to
He's
pay.
a handsome
don't
guy,
forget
man.
to pay the fee.
Yeah. No hoe zone.
Yeah, no hose on.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Guys, remember, if you want to see any of these pictures, articles, links, videos, go to andyfrisella.com. You can find them linked there. And you can also drop down to YouTube below. Check the description and you can find these linked there. But first, before we get to headline number one, I like bringing this up because I feel like it's like the war of the nerds, for lack of a better word. This Elon Musk and Zuckerberg shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's heating up.
Is it?
So, yeah. So you guys seen this? This headline reads: Elon Musk, 52,
I saw this.
challenges Mark Zuckerberg to dick measuring contest as Twitter users flock to Threads. Have you guys seen this? So Andy, you seen this?
No, he
man?
said, I thought this was fake.
No, it's real. I got the tweet. Oh, it's real.
Oh yeah, he said Zuck is a cuck on Twitter the other day.
Oh, bro, it's great.
I thought it was the parody page when I saw
thought
it.
it was too. I thought because he said what's the tweet? He said literal dick measuring.
A literal
contest.
dick
Like
measuring.
he wants to unroll his shit.
Lay it out.
But he is from Africa.
He is African. Oh, bro. Oh, so let's dive into this. All right. So this article, this is a New York Post article reading.
You like that joke, didn't you?
That was a great one.
Yeah.
I ordered the man a trophy. That was great. And true. So the article reads, it says, this feud has come to a head. Elon Musk stooped to a new low.
To a head.
Bro, their little zingers they write, bro, they're great. But it says Elon Musk stooped to a new low Sunday as he challenged Mark Zuckerberg to a dick measuring contest in a bizarre tweet. The Twitter owner, a 52-year-old adult and father of 10, made the proposition complete with an emoji of a ruler because, of course, hours after calling the Facebook co-founder a cuck. So this is the thread, okay? So this was not like a one-off tweet. It was a response to this tweet. The tweet was shared by Data Hazard on Twitter, and it says, Elon protects free speech. Zuck protects brand speech. And it shows a conversation between Wendy's, the food chain, and Mark Zuckerberg. To which Elon Musk first replied. He says, quote, this platform will protect Anons for this reason particularly. Okay. But then he tweets out this: Zuck is a cuck. So for those of you who don't know, per the Oxford Language Dictionary, a cuck is a weak or servile man, often used as a contemptuous term for a man with moderate or progressive political views, or a man whose wife is sexually unfaithful, a cuckold. So
I don't think he means the first one.
Yeah, I don't think he means it. Yeah. But listen, he could be using both. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what that means. And so he tweeted Zuck is a cuck, right? And then a couple of hours later, he tweets out this: I propose a literal dick measuring contest, ruler emoji. Now this is a battle that's been going on between these two. The article continues saying the Tesla CEO's tantrum has also involved a legal threat against Meta, the tech conglomerate that owns and operates Facebook, Instagram, and now Threads, among other social media. So Musk lawyer Alex Spiro fired off a letter to Zuckerberg last Wednesday accusing Meta of engaging in, quote, systematic, willful, and unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets and other intellectual property, which a company spokesperson had denied. Spiro also called Threads a, quote, copycat of Twitter. And so they've been rattling on so far. I think Threads has amassed over about 100 million users. But let's be honest, we don't know how many of those are actually real.
First of all, they basically are kind of making you do it. All right. So like, I didn't realize this, but Emily came in. She's like, "Did you get your?" So here's what they did. They fucking they put out a bunch of posts saying, hey, and they used a bunch of social media influencers. I actually know some of them that did this. Make sure you go to Threads and get your name secured. Okay. So everybody's like, fuck. All right. Well, that makes sense because like, dude, for me, I couldn't even get my own fucking name on these platforms because I'm not on them and other people sit on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I download Threads just so I can secure my name. Like, because I'm like, I don't fucking know what's going to happen. And then I look at it, I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. I want to delete the shit.
Can't do it.
Can't delete it.
Can't delete it. What happens if you delete it?
You delete your whole Instagram. Which, you know what? I might just do that. Like, for real. Like, fuck you.
Isn't that wild, though? Yeah, what do we got on this?
I mean, I think it's time to fight.
I'm here for it. I want to see it.
I think it's time to fight, man. I think people should think very long and hard,
pun intended,
about one person who is clearly compromised by the FBI, who talks about it on Joe Rogan. Okay, I'm not saying this isn't me saying shit.
No speculation.
Like,
it's
no,
real shit.
He talks about it on Joe Rogan about how the FBI was leaning on him to do certain things. And now that's come out at a mass level through this lawsuit that Eric Schmidt filed that we talked about on last CTI that has basically shown that our three-letter agencies are completely complicit at aggressively censoring these social media platforms. And so we have a guy here. We have two guys. We have one guy who spent his own money that he made doing other things to buy a platform to supposedly protect free speech. The reason I say supposedly is because there's still a lot of people having problems on there with free speech. But you have this independent guy who came in and said, I'm spending money to fucking buy this shit. And he buys it. And then you have this other guy who owns Facebook, Instagram, and now this new one who admits in public that they censor based upon what the government tells them to do. And here we have everybody jumping onto this because it's this new hot thing.
That's the thing that blew my mind, man. Like, why so many people just, oh, okay, I'm on that. Like,
well, because they ran a social media campaign through the influencers on their own platforms on Facebook and Instagram saying, you need to go secure your name.
Yeah.
Like, they were very smart about how they did it. And then they made it so you couldn't delete. And they did that intentionally too. So like, we have to evaluate who's fucking who, because this motherfucker has openly admitted that he's just going to do what the government tells him. And then not only that, he's given hundreds of millions of dollars away to these questionable election causes that, appear to have had a drastic impact on our election processes. So we have this one single individual who is controlling speech, okay, and he's passing the buck. No, it's you, bro. Like, if you want everybody to respect you and you want to be cool, it's going to take more than you do in fucking MMA, okay? You should stand up and say, no, fuck these people. I'm not going to fucking do what they say. This is my company. I built it. If you did actually build it.
Right.
Okay. Because there's that LifeLog program that everybody talks about where, you know, the CIA ended LifeLog and then the next day Facebook came about. So what's the truth, bro? What's the truth? And I don't expect them to ever say it either. But the truth is like we as consumers should be a little bit smarter than that, don't you think? Like, should we actually be utilizing platforms over and over and over by the same people who have shown how authoritarian they will become in a situation where control is deemed appropriate? I mean, look what they did during COVID. Look what they did to us.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the character of Mark Zuckerberg aside, which obviously there are a million red flags lining the streets, I think that at the very least, people should just look at the principle of contributing to the monopoly of speech on the internet.
Yeah.
And I don't think that people think in general, but generally about the consequences of adopting certain technologies right away. And we've seen this time and time and time again. And this is a weird tangent, but this is something that I actually appreciate about the Amish because, you know, obviously we all know the horse and buggy Amish, but there's also like the other type of Amish. And one of the things that I think is cool about them is they, as a community, analyze every single piece of new technology that comes out and decides as a community if it is beneficial to their community or not. And if it is, they adopt it. If it's not, they don't. And that's something that I think that people can learn from in modern society because we have shiny object syndrome. We see new shiny thing. We're like, ooh, I got to gravitate towards that. Ooh.
And we want to be the first.
Exactly. Right? And I think that has obviously massive consequences, especially in this scenario, because of who Mark Zuckerberg is, because of the fact that he is trying to gain a monopoly on speech online. I think that before we start jumping the gun and abandoning Twitter and other platforms, we have to consider what are the consequences of this. Even if he was like the best guy in the world, you know, as Kanye says, no one man should have all that power.
Yeah.
So,
facts.
Dude, I think that's exactly correct. The whole entire thing. You know, the problem I see with it too, though, dude, is like he's already shown that he's fucking doing this shit. Like, it's not like we're like putting our faith in somebody who hasn't stepped over the line. Like, he's already stepped over the line. These people have already shown the willingness to censor like literal life-saving information. You know, we can look back to what they did with ivermectin. Ivermectin is a proven therapeutic for COVID. We said this on the show from day fucking one. I had experts on the show to talk about it. And what they do, they censored the message. They deplatformed people. They ran a whole hit campaign on Joe Rogan for fucking 2 weeks, making him look yellow and shit. Like, dude, these people will do whatever the fuck they have to do, even if it causes people to die, which that did. And there still needs to be accountability for that. That's a whole different topic. You know, people have forgotten. Oh, man, you know, you mean we actually had all these therapeutics the whole time COVID was going on? Yes, the whole entire time. Then, not only that, so that means you didn't even need a vaccine. Right? So then they created this thing to make all this money, imposed all this control, and these people have already shown that they're willing to do it. And yet every knucklehead on the internet is over there using it now because of what you said, DJ. It's new. And people feel like, oh man, I missed the boat with TikTok. I missed the boat with Instagram.
I ain't missing this one.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't even fuck with boats.
It is. And it's really what it is it's greed. It's preying on people's greed for attention because we live in an attention economy.
Yep. Real shit. Well, guys, let's get into our headlines. We got
shit. I thought that was a headline.
No, that was just a little intro.
I was just talking shit, huh?
Yeah, just banter. Okay. We got War of the Nerds. Man.
All right, warming up to talk some real shit.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Headline number 1. This is a very interesting article. I wanted to bring this out just to show some contrast here. Headline number 1 reads, Trump special prosecutor probe spent over $9 million so far. Okay, now this is a political article. They're typically more center-left, more left-leaning, I would say. But this is a very, very interesting article. So let's dive into it, right? So it reads, The special prosecutor pressing a criminal case against former President Donald Trump over sensitive national security documents kept at his Florida home incurred over $9 million in cost since being handed the assignment late last year, newly released report shows. Special counsel Jack Smith tallied about $5.4 million in personnel, rent, and other expenses on his own budget and prompted about $3.8 million in spending by other Justice Department agencies in the roughly 4 months after he was tapped by Attorney General Merrick Garland last November to lead the classified documents probe, as well as investigations related to efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election results, according to figures DOJ released Friday. So in 4 months, $9 million he spent on this Trump special counsel. Okay.
How?
That's $9 million of our money. Okay. Just keep that.
Yeah, that's your.
Oh, man. Oh, it gets better. Of the $3.8 million in the off-budget expenses, more than half, or almost $2 million, was spending by the U.S. Marshal Service, a DOJ spokesperson said. The agency provides a security detail for the special prosecutor, who has been seen flanked by deputy marshals as he commutes to and from his Washington office. So $2 million just on security, again, that we pay for. All right. Now,
So just to be clear, we're paying our tax dollars. We're paying for them to investigate Donald Trump. Correct. And then also their private security to investigate Donald Trump.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about that?
Oh,
Let us know that in the comments.
Well, so this is what I like about this article here is because they also, there's been a couple of special prosecutors, right? And Politico did an amazing job of bringing those other numbers into the article. So, for example, by contrast, a special counsel appointed in January to look into President Joe Biden's handling of classified documents discovered in his Delaware home spent $615,000 through March and led other parts of DOJ to incur about $572,000 in spend. So a little bit over $1 million in roughly the same amount of time to investigate Joe Biden, but $9 million in roughly the same amount of time to investigate Donald Trump. However, Special Counsel Robert Hurd didn't officially assume his post until January, providing a limited window into his initial activity before the semi-annual spending reports. Here's another example. You have a third special counsel, John Durham. He spent $1.1 million in the 6 months preceding March 31st as he wrapped up his report on the FBI's handling of the Trump-Russia probe that loomed over Trump's administration for much of his term. As Durham's probe wound down, DOJ incurred few expenses for his probe during that period, totaling only about $59,000. All right. Now, there was another special prosecutor that was put in, really, really big case. Special counsel Robert Mueller. You guys remember that one? Named in 2017 to investigate allegations of Russia influence of the 2016 Trump presidential campaign. Yeah, $31.45 million.
Now, we should say, as you're reading this, that they spent $31.45 million investigating a document that has since been found to have been manufactured by Adam Schiff and Hillary Clinton.
So do we see the trend here? Do you see the trend? You know what it reminded me of, Andy? It reminded me of our good friend Eric Greitens and how they dumped $30 million in the matter of a couple of weeks.
In the last 30 days, okay? He was leading all... Now, by the way, I'll say this. We got Eric Schmidt. I like Eric Schmidt a lot. Yeah. He's a great friend of mine. Eric Greitens is also a great friend of mine. These dudes are both friends of mine. They happen to be running against each other. It is what the fuck it is. I'm sure they'll kiss and make up one day. But what they did, they haven't yet. But I love you guys both.
Well, Elon,
no, it's not that bad.
A fight on the undercard.
But Greitens has a real gripe.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they spent $30 million against Greitens in the last 30 fucking days of the primary cycle for the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate here in Missouri. And he was running against Eric Schmidt and a couple other people. And the ads that they ran against this man were promoting him to be a child abuser, a child beater, which is all bullshit. It has since been proven to be bullshit. In fact, it was proven to be bullshit like 4 fucking days after the fucking primary. And they were handing out propaganda at the polls talking about this man who has never laid a fucking hand on his own kids, that he was some sort of child abusing like fuckhead. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this is one of the smartest, most intelligent people that I've ever met. He's got a PhD from fucking Oxford. He's a Navy SEAL. He's a fucking Rhodes Scholar. This dude he's a good dude.
Solid dude.
Yeah. And like they ruined this dude's reputation with the $30 million. Dude, to me, it still makes me fucking sick.
Oh, dude.
It pisses me off so bad.
But this just reminded me of it. It's like, whoever their enemy is, look at the amount of money that they dump in
to try and attack them.
Over $30 million in the Robert Mueller shit, right? But then you look at who they need to be attacking, they spend less than $2 million.
Well, what does that tell you?
I know what it tells me, Andy.
What's it tell you? What?
I mean, is it tinfoil? I mean,
no, it's not even tinfoil, bro. It's just real shit.
Yeah.
We have a completely biased, weaponized legal system against anyone who's coming in and threatening it at all. You know why they spent $30 million on Greiden? Because Greiden's wanting to fire everybody and burn the government down and build a new one, which is exactly what the fuck needs to happen. Okay? That's why Trump gets the shit he gets. That's why any single American patriot that stands up and says the things that we say on this show every single day, they spend money to fuck with. This is why they run articles in the New York Post about 75 hard, saying that I'm fucking hurting people with 75 hard. This is why they do this shit. So anybody that threatens their fucking matrix of power is villainized. And you guys, like we can look across the board. But do you think it's a coincidence that anybody that stands remotely against these people gets this treatment?
It's fucking hammered.
Come on, man. This is the way they do it. This is why it's important to stand up against it. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're not making enemies with these people, then you're probably not on the target enough.
Yeah.
I think that if you look at some of the people that are the most villainized and attacked by quote unquote the Matrix, then that's a good indicator that they're on the right path.
Yeah. I think it's important for people to, like, we have to get smarter. Like I see, why the left always wins and the right fucking always loses besides the cheating?
Because we play the high game.
No, they stick together and the right doesn't. Like, dude, we have to quit looking for perfection from the people who are standing up against this evil shit. Like the people, when I say we, I mean common sense America. I'm talking center and right. I'm not talking the far left. I'm talking even classic Democrats, okay? Reasonable Democrats. The 80% of common sense, not crazy fucking humans. I'm talking to all of them. If we continue to judge people that we are trying to elect to do a job on areas of life that are not really related to the job, and we expect perfection from human beings in order to be qualified to do that job, we will never have the most qualified people available to do the job, because every single fucking human, you, me, everybody else has done some shit in the past that makes them look fucking in a negative light. Okay? That's the reality. So until we smarten up and wise up and start like not attacking each other for these personal issues, like, dude, like what I see going on between the Trumpers and the DeSantis people, like that's not productive. That's not productive. Okay. We have adopted the common sense have adopted the weapons that have been used by the left that have been introduced intentionally to divide us. We have now adopted that inside of ourselves and our own culture. So like for the last 10 years, up until the last, year, maybe, we had a far progressive left cancel culture, right? Like if you said anything that they deemed any of the things, the misogynist, racist, fucking anything, no matter if it was true or not true, they fucking canceled your shit with fake traffic and fake bots, which is why cancel culture never really affected any real businesses. It was just a threat to, and it intimidated people into silence. But now we have this thing going on with the 80% of people, which is real numbers. This is why when people cancel Bud Light, it goes down billions and billions and billions of dollars, because the numbers are over here in the common sense. But what needs to happen is in the common sense is that people stop canceling each other and critiquing each other and holding each other accountable to this level of perfection that is unobtainable by any human being in order to qualify to do a job that we need to have done. And that's something that we need to all leave behind. Like, bro, like if you dig deep enough, you're going to find some skeletons in everybody's closet, yours included. So, you know,
that's so real, man. Because
yeah,
the left will have a candidate that, you know, let's say there's 10
bro,
things.
If you got a motherfucker operating on you, do you give a fuck if he fucking cheated on his girlfriend fucking 7 years ago?
No.
Do you care?
Just don't kill me, bro.
Do you care as long as if you got a pilot who's the best fucking pilot in the world and he happens to have, you know, fucking, I don't know. And like the funny thing is like the shit these motherfuckers have done is like real evil shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got videos of Joe Biden sniffing little kids all over the fucking internet. We got videos of, we've got his own daughter talking about him showering with her and it traumatizing her. We have them denying the fact that there's a little girl in Arkansas that belongs to their family that they're not saying belongs to it. Like, right. Dude, these people are shitty people, but yeah, you guys all look these leftists all look the other way and let those people do all this shitty stuff. And then, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
it's
what I'm
a
saying.
lot of hypocrisy.
Dude, the left will have a person, let's say there's 10 things, right? 9 out of 10 of those things could be fucking devastating, fucked up shit, but they still hold on to them. Whereas on the right, we can have a person, let's say 9 out of those 10 things are great because of that one thing, it's fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible culture.
Yeah,
man.
the far conservative culture is unwinnable because you have to be so perfect. And by the way, none of them are perfect.
None of them.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I've grown up in conservative America. All you motherfuckers out there saying, oh, fucking totally live my life with straight and narrow, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's dig into this shit. Let's put you under the fucking spotlight. Let's find the fuck out. All right? But it won't happen because you don't put yourself out there. But the reality is that we have a lot of hypocrites in this fucking country that are keeping the country from moving forward based upon realistic expectations of a human being. And like, dude, I don't know about you, but when I want a job done, I'm hiring a motherfucker to do the job. That's all I care about.
That's all it should be about.
Yeah, the left uses this tactic. Both the left and the right use this tactic, but the difference between the two is that the left is in power right now.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if all the cool kids are at the lunch table and they're saying, no, you have to fit this certain criteria to sit at the lunch table. Then one person gets excluded, another person gets excluded, another person gets excluded until you have an entirely new lunch table that they're like, fuck these guys. Yeah. I'm just going to sit at this lunch table.
I think that's where we're at.
That's exactly where we're at. And this is a little bit of a metaphor, but you know, when you're extremely overweight, I often tell people like the further you are from your goals, the simpler the remedy is, the simpler the solution is. If you're completely overweight, you just need to eat fewer calories and move your body. But if you're trying to get from 10% body fat to 7% body fat, the minutia matters a lot more.
Right.
And where we're at currently, and I'm in a lot of these conservative sort of circles, and they're the types that you're describing. You know, if you don't believe, if you're not in this section of Christianity, then you are our enemy.
You're out.
Exactly.
No matter if all the rest of the stuff you say or do is good.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to understand where we're at. And the question is like, do you want to enforce your version of reality on the world, or do you actually want to win? That's the operative question. So we are, as a country, the overweight, the morbidly obese person that just has to consume fewer calories and walk a little bit to start making progress. So we have to start asking ourselves, okay, who aligns with us on the most basic, fundamental issues? Okay, let's not have kids mutilating their genitals. That's a good start.
We can all agree there.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
All right, let's operate from that perspective.
Yeah.
And then let's find more what we have in common. And then as we gain more ground, then we can start worrying about the minutia and these little issues and those little issues. And I think that's the approach we have to take, which is why, you know, I have beliefs about the world and I believe very specific things that probably you disagree with and you disagree with, but that doesn't matter right now. We're not in a position
we're so far away from even having that discussion, bro. It's not even worth having.
And if we don't worry about this shit right here in front of us,
we're all going to be dead.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll never get to that shit. Yeah.
We have to set our priorities straight.
I love that, man.
And so if we actually want to make progress, if we actually want to, get the country back, then that's how we're going to have to start thinking about things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we've lost it.
100%, dude.
I love that.
I think you're 100% spot on with that.
Yep.
We're over here arguing about the ins and outs of the fucking pinnacle of potential of we're fucking sitting on the couch and haven't even moved yet.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, this is, it's super, dude, it's super. This should be really simple. It should be like this. Hey, we're about to lose our fucking country forever and to communism. We're about to really lose it to communism. We're about to lose the ability to be free. We're about to become complete subjects of a ruling class forever. And that hurts all of us. And those of you who are Democrats, it hurts you too. And those of you who are ultra far right wing, ultra MAGA, whatever the fuck they call them, it hurts you guys too. And like, dude, we have to, and like, that's why, like, it's so, I think of it like above the line and below the line issues, right? Mm-hmm. The media matrix and the power matrix is really good at getting us all to argue about the below the line issues.
The minutia.
Right. Yeah. They want us to argue about abortion. They want us to argue about, race. They want us to argue about gender. They want us to argue about all these things when in reality, bro, we're the above the line issues, right? The economy, right? Our actual freedom, what's being taught in our schools, and really they're experts at getting us to fucking hate each other over the shit that is, like you said, it's not relevant right now. What's relevant is that we come together and stop the tyranny from fully materializing.
Yeah. And I don't think any of us will sit here and say that topics like abortion, topics like gender, topics like race aren't important.
No,
they are.
Yeah.
They're just not important right now.
Yeah. And I think there's an argument too. I think the abortion argument is becoming more of a problem, not because of the ethical argument, which everybody loves to argue about, but actually from the population argument.
Yes.
We're flooding this country with people that are not from this country, that come from all over the place intentionally. And the people who actually are from this country are not reproducing at a rate. And what does that mean for the next 50 years? And that's something to talk about. Like, if we want to really talk about abortion, let's talk about that, because that's a real thing. That's not just the ethical argument. That is the argument that matters to the sustainability of an actual civilization, right? Yep. And no one ever talks about that part of it, and as you guys know, I've been talked about this and a lot of people disagree, and that's fine. But I've always been a pro-choice person. But as I start to recognize the implications over the course of the next 50 or 100 years, I'm starting to lean more and more towards like pro-life. And we need to come up with better solutions for these kids that nobody wants. So
yeah, we have to incentivize having children. I think that if you are a relatively intelligent person that has good morals, that wants to see good happen in the world, that you actually have an obligation to have children.
Yeah.
And if you can't, that's one thing. Not everyone's called to have children.
Yeah.
But if you are choosing,
thank you for making that point, because nobody ever says that.
Yeah, of course.
Because people say that shit because we can't have kids. People say that shit to me all the time. They're like they'll hit me up. They'll be like, "Bro, when are you gonna have kids?" I'm like, "I'm 44. She's 41, bro. Do you not take a hint? Like, it ain't like we didn't try."
Yeah, we practice every day.
I'm just saying, well, I just appreciate you hitting on that.
Well, yeah, of course. Like,
people don't think about that.
Yeah.
Some of the closest people to me in my life, some of the most influential people to me in my life, don't have kids. They played that parental role in my life. And I think that the role that you're playing, and I talked to Gina Bontempo about this recently, she's awesome. She's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
The impact that you're having on the world is arguably far greater than you would if you had kids, because that would allocate your time to other places. And you're instead of raising 1 or 2 or 3 children, you're raising an entire generation of people. And how you've done that. I mean, it's legit.
Yeah.
Like, you're one of the most influential people in my life. And I know that a lot of people listening to this can say the same thing. And I don't think you would have been able to make the same level of impact if your attention was other places. So no, not everyone's called to have children. And some people have greater purposes in the world. But if you are somebody who is thinking about it, is considering it, can have children, I think that you absolutely should. And you have a duty to.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%, dude. And that's not something I felt 3 or 4 years ago. That's something that I felt recently.
Yeah. Well, the population issue is obviously part of it, but just from a culture perspective, right? Like, the only way, because the argument that a lot of people have is like, well, the world's going to shit, so I don't want to bring children into this world. And I say to them, like, the only way to not guarantee that the world goes to shit is to put good people in it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be the ones that, if you teach them the right things, will change the course of the ship.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like, we think that we can do, and we can do a lot in our lifetime, right? But if we actually get the job done, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. It's going to happen in our kids' and grandkids' lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, we're planting the seed, but we're never going to sit under the tree.
Yeah.
That's real
That's
shit,
fucking
man.
great perspective, dude.
Yeah. Guys, tell us what you think. That was headline number 1. Let's keep cruising. Got headline.
I appreciate all that stuff you said too. Real talk.
Got headline number 2. Headline number 2 reads, the U.S. will provide cluster bombs to Ukraine and defends the delivery of controversial weapon. You guys see this? The Dems are having a hard time handling this right now.
Are they?
Yeah, because they talk so much shit on cluster bombs and how bad they are, and now they're number
Did they?
one.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, cluster
They don't
bombs
like
are
cluster
nasty.
bombs?
Oh, they're nasty, bro. They're nasty. They're nasty. So,
It's supposed to be, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, they're bad. Like, it's up there. It's actually on. It's actually like in the international community kind of agreed upon that we're not using these no more. So this is a AP News article. It reads, President Joe Biden on Friday defended what he said was a, quote, difficult decision to provide cluster munitions to Ukraine, a move the administration said was key to the fight and buttressed by Ukraine's promise to use the controversial bombs carefully. The decision comes on the eve of the NATO summit in Lithuania, where Biden is likely to face questions from allies on why the U.S. would send a weapon into Ukraine that more than 2/3 of alliance members have banned because it has a track record for causing many civilian casualties. Quote, it took me a while to be convinced to do it, said Biden on a CNN interview. He added that he ultimately took the Defense Department's recommendation to provide the munitions and discussed the matter with allies and with lawmakers on the Hill. He said, quote, the Ukrainians are running out of ammunition, and the cluster bombs will provide a temporary fix to help stop Russian tanks. Now,
I thought they were whooping everybody's ass.
I thought they were whooping everybody's ass. But here's the thing. Let's point out some political bias here with AP News because they left out a big deal. This headline circulating, Biden lets American military info slip during live interview. So during that same interview, that same CNN interview with President Biden, he didn't just leave it at the Ukrainians are running out of ammunition. Biden said, quote, this is a war relating to munitions, and they're running out of that ammunition, and we're low on it. He let it slip. And people are bashing him. This tweet by Logan Dobson, he says, quote, love when the president of America goes on CNN to tell everyone we're low on ammo. Great optics.
He's asking for it.
Listen, dude, all right. If at this point in time, you still do not understand that what they're doing is the intentional destruction of the United States of America, this should be the final thing that wakes you up. The strategic oil reserves are at an all-time low. Okay, we have open border at the southern border. We have millions of undocumented immigrants, quote unquote, migrants that are actually criminals from these third world places coming across. We have our economy is fucked. Our fucking inner cities are intentionally being destroyed by letting the violent criminals out with things like they're doing in LA with no bail and shit like that. Okay. They're becoming unlivable. All right. We have all of our weapons being sent. By the way, a whole bunch of them got left in Afghanistan. And then now, because all you guys put this flag in your bio and got behind it the same way you wore a fucking mask and didn't think about it. Okay. Now we're in a situation where they're gotten the green light to send all of our fucking military resources, our equipment, not our men, our equipment, which is equally as important, I think anybody would argue, to this place to do a fucking war that really has nothing to do with anything here other than protecting their interests and the crimes that they've committed. All right. And if you don't think that our real enemies, China, okay, if you don't understand that, which has been shown that Biden is on the fucking receiving end of money from China for policy decisions, and you can't connect the fact that they're doing this all intentionally because China is making these people do it. Why would they be making those people do it? Do you think it's just to, I don't know, for fun?
Yeah. Let's just laugh at America.
They're doing it because they want to take our shit.
Yep.
And you guys don't realize that. Like, you live in your little bubble and you think everything's going to be cool because you get to go to fucking McDonald's and all this shit. And bro, we're like the most vulnerable we've ever been ever in the history of this country because of this guy that they put in power who is shown to be taking money from these and then presented as some sort of senile, incapable, pants-shitting elderly man. Okay. And then everybody said, while they're doing this the whole time, everybody's saying, oh, dude, he's just old. He's just senile. These guys are so stupid. Ha ha ha. Look how stupid they are. They're not stupid. This is intentional. And the mistake you're making is that you think this is an accident and this guy's just incapable, when in reality, they're putting us on a silver platter for our enemies to literally take our fucking country away. And that's your shit. That's your house. That's your neighborhood. That's your life. That's your kids. That's your future. All being put on a silver platter. And then you call me a fucking conspiracy theorist for fucking putting the shit together for you to see. Like, what else would it take to convince you that this is what's happening? Because that is what's happening. That's what's happening. Am I 100% sure? I don't think I can be 100% sure, but I'm fucking 99.99% sure.
COVID survival rate.
Yes.
At least.
I'm at least that sure. Like, holy fuck, guys.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that Joe Biden is making these decisions, you don't understand what's going on. Joe Biden hasn't made a decision in 3 years.
I agree.
And so it's funny.
He makes at least one decision in the morning.
Well, which color diaper to wear?
Or like Raisin Bran Crunch versus regular Raisin Bran with extra raisins. I'm sure he makes at least like those.
One sniff or two sniffs.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if you look at, if you operate under the assumption that these people are trying to intentionally destroy a country, what are the things that they're focusing on? They're focusing on depleting the military. They're focusing on opening the border, and they're focusing on destroying the economy. These are the three things they focus on, which also happen to be the very same issues that Donald Trump excelled at the most. His crowning achievements in every single area of his presidency was trade, immigration, and the military. So if you're thinking about who is the best option for 2024, it's probably the person that's the best on those issues.
Dude, no matter what else, that's it.
Yep.
And then, oh, well, I don't like him. Well, he's the one that they gave us to choose from, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're going to not vote because you don't like the way the dude's fucking tweets. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
it makes
exactly.
no sense.
And for a multitude of reasons, but you know, to me, the massive reason that Trump is the guy is because he has a proven track record of being excellent at these things. He rebuilt the military, he shut down the border, and he revitalized the economy. Those are the three things that matter right now. When you talk about what actually matters, is it, you know, the way, like you said, the way he tweets, the way he talks, whether or not he had classified information no, none of that matters. What actually matters is what fundamental pieces that make up a strong country are being catered to. And he does that better than anyone else. And we know that he does that better than anyone else.
Because he's already done it.
Right. So sure, I can appreciate Ron DeSantis. Because I live in Florida.
Yeah.
I can appreciate guys like RFK Jr.
Mhm.
And that's a whole other tangent. I actually like that he's having conversations that nobody else is having, in terms of like, vaccines and, poison in the water, poison in the food supply, our hormones, all that other stuff. I think that's going to be very interesting to see how those conversations play out in 2024. But, to me, it's not a question who the guy is, because where our country is bleeding is where he excels the most.
Yeah.
And so that's my take on it.
Dude, it's really hard for me to, I don't know, to really understand how people cannot connect these dots that this is actually happening. Like, I almost think that it's so bad that people are like, this can't really be what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is what the fuck has been going on. And this is why I do this show. Do you think that I'm going to, do you know how much, oh man, do you know how much I gave up monetarily to do this show? Dude, the MFCEO project was the #1 fucking entrepreneur project in the fucking world, bro. Okay. Do you know how much extra money I'd be making right now had I just continued to do that? Like, dude, do you think I would do that if I didn't believe this was actually happening? Like, we're in danger. Our country's in fucking danger. You're in danger. Your fucking family's in danger. And the more that you continue to give this guy a pass, the more you're denying that reality and putting yourself in more danger. And if we lived in any other time, according to the Constitution of the United States, this man would be already arrested by our military. They would be arrested and removed from power. And in my opinion, the fact that hasn't happened is treasonous in itself. That's my opinion. Like, how fucking much further is this going to be allowed to go? And all of you guys up on Capitol Hill and you senators and Congress people, and you say you're making change, how much longer are you going to wait to start calling for these actions to happen? Because, dude, the guy's saying it himself. We're low on ammo. Well, we're also low on all this other shit. We've got all this other shit lining up to the fact of putting us as like this fat, juicy Thanksgiving dinner for China to come in and fucking eat. And by the way, if you think this is just like cultural destruction, which a lot of people say that, they're like, China's not interested in our land. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? We have the most natural resource rich land on the fucking planet. That's why everybody wants our shit. Okay. And we don't even use it. So dude, this is denial. Like, you guys are in denial that don't believe this. And we have to start calling for actual drastic accountability by the people who are in power, that do have some sort of patriotic responsibility. But the reality is, dude, if this was happening at any other time with any other person, this motherfucker would be in jail. And we're continuing allow it. Like, dude, it's frustrating. Like, I don't understand how you guys who are in the 3-letter agencies and are in the military, like, how you could sit by and just fucking allow this to happen.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is going to no, bro, this is going to kill you too. This is going to get your family too, your kids too. Like, why the fuck are you guys not working together to solve this?
This is why it goes back to personal excellence, because when you call for accountability and the only people that are in a position to hold people accountable are weak, you have to be the type of person that can hold people accountable and enforce good in the world.
Dude, think about this. You want to think about something scary? In 5 more years, who's going to be in the military?
Exactly.
They've already eroded all of the things required to be an effective soldier out of these young kids. They removed their competitive nature. They've rounded off all the corners. They've made everything easy. They've made being an alpha male toxic. Being manly is no longer something that these kids are actually taught.
Which they are in China.
Dude, they got fucking summer camps where these kids go and shoot fucking RPGs at 8 years old. That's a fucking rocket launcher for those of you that don't understand. Okay? Their kids are shooting rocket launchers. Our kids are cutting their dicks off. Do you not understand where this is fucking going? Like, we are in danger, and it's going to require every single person to step the fuck up to stop it. Okay. And that means using your fucking voice. That means also making commitments in, like Matt said, personal development, personal excellence, because we're going to have to somehow raise a generation of people that can actually do the jobs required to run this country and protect it. And right now we have a gap. There's a gap of people right now that are going to be ill-equipped to do so. And they are between the ages of fucking 10 and 20 years old. So in 10 more years, those are going to be the people that are supposed to fucking run the power lines and do the construction and be our protection for our military. How effective do you think they're really going to be? We have a lot to correct here. And if you're a parent, this means your job as a parent becomes the most fucking important thing ever. Okay? For you to raise a high skill level, high drive, high functioning, quality American human being from the ground up.
You have to be that yourself first.
100%, dude. And that's another way that we can fix it, because we could transform some of the softness into ourselves so that it trickles down.
Yep.
Real shit, man. Scary shit, man. Guys,
dude, it's fucking scary.
Yeah. Here we go. Headline number 3, guys. Third and final headline. Headline number 3 reads, Sound of Freedom exceeds expectations with $40 million box office opening. So this is a big deal, man. It's making a lot of noise. So Sound of Freedom's opening weekend earned $18 million and took the number 3 spot at the box office. The film, which is distributed by Angel Studios, details the true story of how Tim Ballard, a former federal agent with the Department of Homeland Security, quit his job and risked his life to journey into the jungles of Colombia in an effort to save children from slavery. Quote, as with our July 4th numbers, today's numbers exceed our expectations, and we're going to continue this momentum. Sound of Freedom has taken on a life of its own. Angel Studios head of theatrical distribution, Brandon Purdy, told the Washington Examiner in a statement, quote, we're getting messages from all over the country telling us about packed theaters, sold out theaters, and spontaneous standing ovations for the film in numerous locations. So to date, the true life thriller has grossed more than $40 million, according to box office reports. The film opened in 2,800 theaters and earned an A+ rating from CinemaScore. The film features Jim Caviezel from The Passion of the Christ, Academy Award winner Mira Sorvino from Mighty Aphrodite, and Bill Camp from 12 Years a Slave. The film was produced by Eduardo Verastegui and was written and directed by Alejandro Monteverde. Here is the film's trailer.
How the fuck
I don't know.
Read those names, but you can't
because I practiced those.
Those are some tough names.
Yeah, I practiced those really well. I did those a couple of times before the show.
Can we get like a Stan Smith over here or something?
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, you fucked that up though. You get Steve Smith fucked up, but you'll say Alejandro Monteverde all day long, bro.
Guys, can't show it on YouTube, but we will link the trailer for the video for Sound of Freedom. If you guys haven't seen it just yet, we'll link it down in the description. But super moving, right? Now, a couple of people online, mainstream media is picking it up. But here's the thing. It's getting trashed. So this is a Fox News headline. Human trafficking film Sound of Freedom trashed by liberal outlets as QAnon adjacent. So multiple liberal outlets have trashed the new film Sound of Freedom as QAnon adjacent and fit for QAnon in recent days. Descriptions that relegate the film about human trafficking to fodder for conspiracy theories. Now, you guys remember a couple of years ago that movie that came out on Netflix, Cuties, right?
Yep.
You guys remember all the controversy around that? These little girls, they dressed up in belly shirts, and it was fucking disgusting, right? Now, I want to show some comparison here, okay, that leads into this major talk. So, like this article from The Guardian, okay, that was written for this Cuties news review or movie review. The headline reads, Cuties Review, Netflix's controversial child exploitation film is bold, flawed, and misunderstood, right? But look what they have to say about Sound of Freedom. Same news agency, The Guardian, reading, Sound of Freedom, the QAnon adjacent thriller seducing America. Rolling Stone, Cuties Review, a coming-of-age movie caught in the culture wars. And then in the minor description, it says it's actually a sensitive portrait of growing pains that deserves to be seen. Sound of Freedom, Rolling Stone says, it's a superhero movie for dads with brain worms. The QAnon tinged thriller about child trafficking is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. I mean, this is Forbes. The controversy over Netflix's Cuties is totally ridiculous. Guys, it goes on, and it's fucking disgusting, right? But CNN, we talk about why wouldn't people want this movie? It's based on a true story, right? Why wouldn't they like it? Is it because, CNN, one of their producers, was arrested for attempting to persuade minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity? Or could it be the BBC having to suspend one of their top presenters who's accused for paying teen for explicit images? I just don't understand why certain people are trashing the movie and don't want to talk about it at all.
They don't want human trafficking to be a part of the public consciousness because then they're going to find out who the customers are.
It's a great question. I mean, that's a great point. It makes sense to me.
I don't know how it can be. Like, this is another thing, like we just talked about in the last topic, where, Biden talking about us not having ammunition should be a wake-up call to people to understand what's actually happening on the geopolitical front. This should serve as a wake-up call that all of this shit that you have been told was bullshit is actually somewhat true. And the mainstream media outlets that a lot of you have, put your trust in are actually part of this problem in reality. Why would you, Rolling Stone or anybody, why would you trash a film for any reason that brought some sort of awareness to this issue with children?
At all?
No, doesn't matter at all. Why? Why would you be against a film that shows a true story about human trafficking so that people can understand this is a real thing that's actually going on? There's only one actual reason, and Matt said it right away. There's only one reason that they would blatantly rip this shit in public, and it's because they don't want you to look at it, because once you look at it and you realize that it's a potential real thing, and it's not a potential real thing, it's a real thing. You're going to realize, what I meant was, you're going to start thinking of it as a potential, because right now a lot of people are like, oh, QAnon's fucking bullshit. Mm-hmm. Okay? And a lot of QAnon is bullshit. But the reality is that we're dealing with people in power at the highest level who don't want you to think that this could potentially be going on. Now, why would they not want you to think what's potentially going on? Well, it's because of what Matt said, because those people are the fucking customers of that. And dude, the more evidence that plays out and the more evidence that rolls out, with the Epstein shit and the way these people are normalizing pedophilia, all right? They're making it okay for grown men dressed as women to go into schools and do dances in front of kids. Shit that would be, bro, if you would have done that 10 years ago, the fucking neighborhood would have killed you. Okay? So they're starting to normalize pedophilia. They're denying that this is a real thing. Now, if you just had to deduce a conclusion from those things, what would you come to? Well, I can't speak for everybody, but what my conclusion comes to is that we're dealing with fucking legitimately a bunch of elite fucks that have a lot of money and a lot of power and like to molest little fucking kids. And we don't even know if it ends at molestation. Apparently, I haven't seen the movie. You've seen it. Apparently, these kids end up in all kinds of different situations. It could be just sex. It could be, they kill them. It could be they use them in sacrifice rituals. And they don't want you to think about those things. They want to discount those things and say, oh, well, that's not true. Well, it is fucking true. So who the fuck is doing it? And why has Ghislaine Maxwell been the only person that's ever been convicted of human trafficking without any people that she's actually trafficked it to? And so we're dealing with some seriously evil shit going on in the world that a lot of you guys just aren't willing to address as reality. And it's fucked up, dude. These are fucking kids. You're really not going to get vocal and stand up and speak up for fucking kids? You're going to let grown men shake their balls in front of kids? You're going to let teachers tell their kids that they should get transition surgeries and shit? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with the people in this country right now? This is fucking unacceptable shit.
The people that are making articles like this and bashing the movie, they do what they often do a lot, which is they associate different terms with different things. So like they'll take human trafficking and associate it with QAnon and associate it with Jim Caviezel.
Right.
And they'll associate these things together so that when you think of human trafficking, you automatically associate it with a conspiracy theory.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, like, that is incredibly real. And the actual statistics in the movie that they showed were there are more slaves in the world right now than any other time in human history, even when it was legal. Half of them are sex slaves, and there are millions of sex slaves that are children. That is actually happening in real life. But they want you to associate that reality with a conspiracy theory. For those that don't know what QAnon is, it's basically the conspiracy theory that there are, as Andy alluded to, elites in society that either molest children themselves, or what they often do is use them as a tool in order to blackmail people.
Right.
And that's where you see all these celebrities, going and promoting the ideas that they want perpetuated in society, is because they go to these parties, they snap a photo, they got blackmail, and
correct.
And that is how they maintain control over people that have power and influence.
That's my take on it too, bro. Like, that's what I think this whole thing's about. Like, a lot of people make it to be this, it's satanic, or it's, these people are just perverts, or
adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome. Like, there's all these things that people say it's for, but actually what I think it's for, I think there is a fucking huge underground network of pedophilia. I think it's an elite thing, kind of like, those movies we used to watch as kids where like the ultra rich people go hunt like actual people and shit. I think they really do stuff like that. And so I see this in my mind, and this is my fucking observations, and what I have decided I think is going on is that these elite people are all involved in some sort of fetish with kids where they molest kids, and it's accepted amongst that level. And to get into that level, you have to be a part of that. And the way that you be a part of that is you do it, and they have evidence. And then that way everybody's leveraged, so nobody tells.
Everybody's in check.
That's right. And then they use these things like Epstein. Like, if you think Epstein's the only place in the world where they've been doing this, you're insane. This is how they control every country, not just this country. Okay. So this is a global phenomenon, in my opinion, that's been going on for a long time, that they have used, like you're saying, Matt, to leverage society into doing exactly what they want. And this is why you don't see any whistleblowers for it, because the whistleblowers are also guilty. So there's nobody coming out and blowing the whistle because they've got some sort of evidence that they participated in this at one point in time. And so knowingly or unknowingly, because remember, this doesn't have to be like an 8-year-old kid, or fucking 5-year-old kid, or an infant, like the crazy shit that you think of when you think of like molesting children, right? This could be a 16-year-old girl that looks 25, that they bring some rich dude to an island and they got like 20 of these, and then you fucking party for a weekend and you end up fucking one of them. And that's what the fuck this could be. And so they get that shit on film, and they fucking own you forever, dude. They own you forever. And this is what I think is actually going on. I think that's what's happening. I think all these people are guilty, so nobody tells, and that's how they maintain the secrecy of the network. And, to sit here and say, oh, that's conspiracy theory, after all of this evidence that exists has come out in the open, bro, you're putting your head in the sand, just like you're putting your head in the sand about what Biden's doing to this country intentionally.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Ashton Kutcher, who was once one of the hottest rising stars in Hollywood, all of a sudden left the spotlight and is now running an organization that helps kids that are being trafficked. I don't think that's a coincidence whatsoever.
How about Mark Wahlberg leaving Hollywood and relocating to Nevada because he doesn't want to be around that environment?
Mm-hmm.
How about Mel Gibson being blackballed from every single fucking movie ever? He's lucky enough that he's rich enough to do whatever he wants because he did Braveheart and fucking Patriot and all this badass shit. And now he happens to be one of the real life guys kind of doing that in his own way, which is cool as fuck. But like, you know, anybody who stands up against it is automatically blackballed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like these, you know, this is why we don't see more of it. Like you can't see more of it because everybody who knows about it is in it.
Yeah,
that's my take, at least.
For sure. And I think it's very important just in general, you know, if you want to know what ideas you should subscribe to, I would observe the things that people get the most hate for. So, for example, if you want to know whether something is true or not, well, for example, if you think that China doesn't own Biden, well, can Biden mock China? No. If you think that human trafficking isn't real, well, look what happens to every single person that talks about human trafficking that's in the public eye. They're
completely wiped out of relevancy as far as those people are concerned to even mention it. Like think of like how aggressive of a response that is to someone that's just saying, hey man, these kids are getting fucking stolen and used and this and that. And then the automatic response by all the other people in their little genre is to like blackball them. Like, doesn't that scream like, holy shit, these dudes are like guilty as fuck? It does to me.
Yeah, you can't sit there and say that Mel Gibson got blackballed from Hollywood because he's objectively a bad filmmaker. No. He's one of the best filmmakers of all time. He has films that have shaped culture, and you can't say it's because of that. So it's got to be something else. And
no, they say it's because of that traffic stop that he had a number of years ago where he used the N-word. That's what people say it is, but that ain't it either. Because there's all kinds of motherfuckers that use the N-word, including the entire population, not the entire, but the majority of the population that happens to be black uses every fucking day. So we're not like, that's not it either. This is because of this shit that we're talking about. It's just, dude, it bothers me that so many people are so closed off to like admitting that this shit is actually going on. Not just this human trafficking stuff, but like the stuff that we talked about in the last topic. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck do you guys think is going on? Like, what do you think? This is normal political environment? Like, you think this is just the ebbs and flow? Like, I'm trying to figure out what you think. Tell me what you think. Like, tell me in the fucking comments. Like, what do you think the alternative is here? Like, because I'm sitting here trying to deduce all the things and what they mean. And I don't know, like,
this is where we end up at.
Listen, bro, the real world doesn't tell me I'm an idiot. The real world says that I actually am pretty good at analyzing things and making decisions. I've been effective. Okay. So I'm using my skill set to analyze this. And this is what I'm coming up with. What are you guys coming up with? Because if it ain't that, I'd like to know what it is. You think this is just normal political ebbs and flows? If you think that, bro, you haven't been alive long enough to understand what those look like and how they feel.
Yeah, I'm 26, so I wasn't around for a lot of the, stuff in the 80s and 90s, right. But, just looking back, the issues that were being argued back then versus the issues that are being argued now are completely different. They used to argue about, well, is this fiscal policy a good idea? Should this be passed or no? No, it is like, what is real and what is not? Like that is what we're arguing now. We are arguing fundamental ideas of good and evil. That is what we're arguing.
They have us arguing over what a woman is. If you can get people to think that a man is a woman and a woman is a man, what the fuck can you not get them to believe?
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like it's very easy. Like you're born with certain chromosomes and a certain part most of the time. Okay? Like
no matter how big or small.
And that's it. And I want to say another thing too, while we're on this fucking topic. This fucking chest feeding bullshit, bro, that is sexual fucking molestation. Okay? Allowing the CDC fucking said that physicians should accommodate men who claim to be women that want to breastfeed their child to take a drug to chemically basically ejaculate some sort of fluid from their fucking nipple so that their kid can fucking suck on their nipple and drink it. That, like, what are we doing here?
Playing house?
No, bro. We're past the point. Like, when are we going to fucking do something about this? Like, when is everybody going to rise up in unison and say, no, this is fucking unacceptable. I'm not going to stand by and allow a grown fucking man to let an infant suck on his nipple while he takes a drug that's going to excrete some sort of toxic bullshit into this child's mouth for his own fucking validation as being a woman. I'm not accepting that. That's not acceptable. And then you have this, I saw an article this weekend where literally at the end of the article about this chest feeding, this dude writes, and it kind of got me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Don't judge. No, I am judging, motherfucker. We should all be judging. Like, bro, how the fuck can you guys live with yourself being quiet about shit like that? I can't, dude. I don't care what happens to me. That shit's fucking wrong. All this shit's wrong. And I don't know what it is that I have that not everybody else has. It ain't balls, bro. Because I think what it is faith. Because I know I'm going to have to fucking answer for it. I know I'm going to have to answer for what the fuck I did during this time. Did I stand for the right shit or did I keep my mouth shut? Did I say that's fucking wrong? Or did I just fucking say, oh, tolerance? Because, bro, you're going to have to answer for that shit. And it's real shit.
Yeah, most people can't conceptualize a reality where that is worse than being uncomfortable or inconveniencing yourself or even death. Because you have to, in order to fight the fight, in order to actually be somebody that moves the needle in society, you have to conceptualize a reality worse than death. Because it exists.
Yeah.
It absolutely exists.
Yeah.
You should be more scared of living a life that where you were a coward, where you were afraid to say what you actually think, where you were afraid to make sure good things happen in the world, that you just sat there on your phone, digging into your bag of Doritos and you know, finding the next thing to the next piece of dopamine charged content to pull you away from the reality that we live in. If you want to actually see things change, you have to immerse yourself in this reality. You have to look at the world and be like, yep, this is what it is. And we're actually going to do something about it, which means sacrificing a lot. You have to sacrifice your comfort. You have to sacrifice your convenience. You might have to sacrifice your job. You might have to sacrifice a lot, but the reward of doing so, if we all do it, far outweighs the cost.
More importantly, the consequence of not doing it.
Dude, I'm not willing to accept that. I'm sorry, dude. Even if those people get their way and they win and they kill me, I'd be okay with that. Like, fuck you. I'm not fucking doing it. And I'm not standing with it. I'm not standing for it. I'm not going to fucking shut the fuck up. This is bullshit. We got grown men taking drugs to excrete fucking chemicals into infants' mouths that have no idea what the fuck is going on and then writing on the internet saying that it turned them on. No. Like, this is fucking bullshit. And the fact that it's gotten this far is absurd. Like, it's totally changed my understanding of what the people of this country actually are. Like, I grew up thinking we are the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. Nobody can fuck with us. And now I'm like, we're not doing anything about this dude selling our country to another country, nor are we protecting these kids from grown men shaking their fucking nutsacks in their faces, nor are we saying anything about promoting the idea that these kids should somehow have a surgery to affect their genitals that they can never reverse ever. Like, nor are we doing anything about, you know, the idea of a grown man taking chemical to fucking excrete a chemical into a kid's mouth because they want to be accepted as a woman. We're not doing fucking anything.
It's easier to ignore it.
And we're the fucking baddest motherfuckers ever. We're like, who, bro, that's a fucking pipe dream illusion, bro. We better find our shit. Otherwise, we're going to get conquered like every other weak civilization in the history of fucking humankind does. That's what's going to happen. We're going to be fucking conquered.
Yeah, and
Bullshit,
you have to stop kidding yourself, because there's a lot of these people, I call them gravy seals, that are like, oh, if a war breaks out, it's on. It's like, dude, you can't even put your Mountain Dew down. You can't even get off your phone.
Yeah.
Like, if you think that you're going to, if a civil war breaks out and you're going to
say yes, sir, in Chinese.
100%.
That's the fuck you're going to say.
You think you're going to clear the streets with your AR-15, even though you can't stop watching porn? Like, yeah, right.
Bro, up until do you not remember? Like, you guys should all remember. Do you remember the amount of fucking pro 2A badasses on the internet prior to 2020? Do you not remember that?
Where'd they go?
Every motherfucker on the planet was fucking 3%er, fucking revolutionary. Don't tread on me. I got my guns and my land and my freedom and fucking all this shit. And bro, when that shit happened and there started to be some real controversy in the world and some real pushback, they fucking ghosted. They disappeared. Now, I'm not saying all of them. There's still some real motherfuckers out there like Mike Glover, Sean Ryan, these dudes who, and a number of other ones I'm forgetting. Okay. But what I'm talking about is the amateur fucking revolutionary that made their whole identity around this fucking ideals that they have not even said a fucking word for 3.5 fucking years.
They're wearing a costume.
Bro, dude, no shit. It ain't no different than any of these other fake motherfuckers on the internet.
Yeah. It's the people that are dressing up as a woman. Like, they're doing the same exact thing.
Dude.
They're playing pretend. I commend somebody who goes on the internet and says what they actually think is true and tries to wake people up to the reality of what's going on.
Dude, it's not like it hasn't cost me a lot. Like, people don't understand that. It's not like people are like, oh, he can fucking do whatever because he's wealthy. No, dude, it's cost me a whole lot. I can't even go anywhere. I have people come to my house. I've had people break in my house. I have to pay fucking over $1 million a year for security. Like, this shit it's not fucking free. And, you can afford it. Well, dude, it's not that cool. I'll be real with you. Like, I walk out my front yard and there's fucking 2 dudes in my house every fucking day. I don't fucking like it. It's not fun. It's not fucking cool. It's not a cool Instagram flex. Otherwise, I'd be flexing it. I don't fucking like it. Okay? There's sacrifices that people have to make. I get fucking attacked nonstop by everybody on the fucking internet. 50% of the time I open my fucking phone, every time I open my phone, 50% of the people fucking hate me. Like, bro, I don't give a fuck because we got grown men letting kids suck on their tits, dude. We got a dude in a fucking government office selling our country to fucking China. We got fucking crime in every city, like, where people can't even live. We can't, dude. I don't know, man. Like, the more and more I see people just fucking go along with it, the more and more I'm like, dude, this ain't gonna happen. Yeah. Yeah. And that's dangerous, dude, because before we're quote unquote fucked, all the people who propagated this shit will be fucked first. You know what I'm saying? Because when civility breaks down, and because right now we have the law enforced for one side and not the other side. And when that fucking stops, there's going to be fucking problems.
Fact, man. Guys, tell us what you think in the comments. Let us know where you guys stand on this. But all that being said, we have our final segment of the show. As always, we have thumbs up or dumb as fuck. That's where we bring a headline up, we dive in it, talk about it, and give it one of those 2 titles. So with that being said, our thumbs up or dumb as fuck headline reads: why are so many people throwing objects at pop stars on stage? Harry Styles becomes latest victim of dangerous craze where music fans hurl projectiles at singers, including Adele and Pink, as they perform. Have you guys been seeing this trending?
No, because I don't give a fuck about any of those people.
Yeah,
you see that stuff on Threads.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Fucking, I don't even understand why any of you would go fucking pay money to listen to any of that shit.
Yeah. Well, listen,
so like, no, I don't know what's going on.
I do like Adele. Adele's
right. I'm with you there.
Yeah, Adele's not bad. She's good.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know,
Pink,
bro.
yeah.
I don't listen to that. I don't listen to that shit.
I can love.
No.
Yeah, it's good.
No.
Yeah, it's my workout music.
I listen to Young Dolph.
Well, they probably throw some shit at him too if he was still here. So article goes, it says a dangerous craze has seen artists on stage getting pelted with objects during their performances, including a phone, a teddy bear, a bunch of flowers, and a fan's dead mother's ashes.
Classy.
The trend, which dates back decades but appears to have seen a recent spurt, saw Harry Styles shockingly hit in the face by a flying object while he was on stage during his Love on Tour concert in Vienna, Austria on Saturday. Unfortunately, such occurrences seem to be taking place more frequently, with a fan throwing her mother's ashes on stage at Pink's concert at Bebe Rexha's last month, being hit with a phone to the face. Adele also paused her recent Las Vegas show to slam the acts as she jokingly dared the audience to throw something at her. So here's like a little short compilation of all of this going on.
Your pain is in the
Who's that?
That's Lady Gaga.
If I get hit with more, if I see one more on this stage, I'm leaving. Don't.
Who's that?
Is Jason? Who's that? Kid Cudi.
Who? Did he walk off stage?
Yep.
Good. Who's that?
I don't know who that was. Harry Styles here.
Was that the Ashes?
Bro, that's some weird shit though.
Kind of like the reverse of like what's been going. Have you noticed how people are like forgetting show etiquette at the moment? People are throwing on stage. Have you seen that?
Who's that?
Adele.
Dare
love her.
you throw something at me and I Stop throwing things at the artist, but you can shoot things at people.
She seems to be handling it well.
Oh yeah, no, dude, Adele's awesome. Adele's
Yeah,
fucking
we
awesome.
like Adele.
Yeah, so I mean, what do we?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Imagine thinking this is a problem.
Yeah, imagine giving a fuck. Like, for real, dude.
I mean, dude, it's easy to say until you get fucking punched in the face with a phone.
No, I'm just saying, like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about celebrity culture. Like, celebrity culture to me is dead. I believe those people are paid to do every single thing that they do. I don't think any of it's genuine. I've known enough of them to know that that's the way it works. They are paid to say things. They are paid to think things. They are paid to do things. And they are chosen. They're not chosen upon their ability to perform. They are chosen because they are willing to go along and protect the ideals that these elite people that we've been talking about for the last hour and a half plus actually stand for. And so I have no respect for these people. Not at all. I don't care. I don't go see their shit. I don't even know who the fuck they are. I have no idea because that's how much I care about it. And I would say maybe, and I don't know if Logan Paul got this from these guys or if he started it.
Yes.
But they did a brilliant marketing because those guys are great marketers. Where they had all their fans throw Prime bottles at them, and it was fucking awesome. And went mega viral, and all the media was like, "Oh, look at this!" And that's just an example of someone that knows how to work the system.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I like those guys a lot. So, anyway, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I don't.
I like Adele though.
It would be nice for
like
some
Adele.
of them, you know, like if I really wanted to watch it, I probably can't say what I really think because like it would be a lot funnier if they're throwing like bowling balls and shit. Okay. Like that would be funny.
Like
Like,
Bibles.
yeah, like,
Throw some Bibles. They
Yeah,
need it. They
or-
need it.
yeah, no shit they do. So, I mean, like,
Dumb as fuck.
if we're going to do something, let's do it all the way. Like,
Fucking chairs.
yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So,
Love it.
yeah, dumb as fuck.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Well, guys, Andy, Matt, that's all I got.
Yeah. Don't be a hoe.
Share the show.